We're back with another Soleil developed game. This is our third one now, and I'm gonna say it again. These are ex-Team Ninja devs, so I'm always rooting for them to come out with something pretty good. When I found out they were making the shooter hack and slash action game, which yeah, reminded me of their previous title, Devil's Third, but hopefully this time a bit better. So yeah, let's check it out. This is Combat Overview. In this series, I go over the general controls to the game's main mechanic or mechanics, who or what we use those tools on, and then seeing how it all comes together. Bit more in depth, but that's what we do. Wanted Dead is an arcadey action game with a mix of melee and shooting mechanics. Got parries with our katana and counters with our pistol. Even limb removal stuff going on like Ninja Gaiden. And glory kills. Well, more like OTs from Ninja Gaiden 2 then. So we got our katana on square doing a little 3-hit combo to start off with. This is your main form of attacking and leads into those delimbs. Now we don't have other katanas to unlock or delay combos or crazy enders like launchers and all that. Because triangle isn't a heavy attack, but this quick shot instead to hit a nearby enemy. It has unlimited ammo and is more of a check option. You can stagger people depending on the enemy, and doing this actually opens up 2 different routes for your katana. They really don't affect enemies at all really, so it doesn't matter too much which one you do. These sidearm combos are just solid ways to continue your pressure. Now the other half, the gunplay. You can aim, shoot, and strafe while doing that. And I've said this for all these shooter action games I've covered so far, but we gotta give it the Resident Evil 4 test. And no. Shooting limbs doesn't seem to affect enemies in specific ways. Headshots does more damage, that's for sure, but hitting legs or arms, yeah, nothing. It actually seems like melee best enemies are even more resilient to gunfire altogether and just tank the hits. There are chainsaws placed around and these instantly take out enemies, letting you go on a rampage. It does run on durability breaking after some use, but it does work on elite enemy types which breaks no matter what the durability is, but it's a good strategy to plan out with spawns and routing. For defenses, you can do this dash step on X and there's a follow-up roll. Both have iframes on them and you're invulnerable for a decent amount, letting you go through enemies' attacks. And a dash step has a follow-up attack out of it, so does a roll. So you can answer back right after repositioning. You can even do this dash step on hit to reposition and move in or out if needed. You can guard on L1, can't move around while holding it, and you cannot rely on it either, because getting hit once will break it, leaving you wide open. You can upgrade it to tank at least one more hit, but yeah, guard is pretty useless. But just like Ninja Gaiden, you can dash away on block to reposition. And of course, you can parry by timing this press to opening them up instead, sometimes just outright delimbing an arm. Our guard even cancels attacks, so you can do this on reaction. Then there's these red attacks. And just like Zoe 2 taught us 20 years ago, these are unblockable. So you cannot guard or parry these. And that's where our sidearm comes into play. You can counter these attacks with our pistol, which luckily does take priority, canceling out any animation. So you can do this on reaction. And successful counters can set up its own counter attack follow-up, which cuts them down a size. This even hits multiple nearby enemies too. And when you put these two together, it's pretty hype. Now, if you ever played Ninja Gaiden, these guys are dangerous because they'll try to grab you and self-destruct, trying to take you with them. These enemies with severed parts can be glory killed, shown by them flashing white. Just press triangle and circle to finish them off. You can even execute far off enemies too, so you don't have to be up close to them to start it. You'll either shoot them or just zip towards them. And when there's multiple really torn up enemies next to each other, you'll chain these finishers together automatically. Kind of reminded me of Razor's Edge. Onto the HUD. Blue is health. And I was surprised to find out there is a rally system similar to Bloodborne. So that red life behind is what can be refilled by landing attacks with your katana only. But yeah, super cool it's here and definitely eases up on the damage you take as you rush someone down as they empty a whole clip on you, so gives you some wiggle room. And doing a glory kill will completely restore red health while you're completely invulnerable too. Not bad. We also have limited amount of throwables, the classic grenade, which goes boom after some time, good at clear areas or for those situational angle throws, hitting people behind cover and all that. Fire can lock down an area, it'll do damage over time, and it'll make enemies run around for a bit. You can combine these two to really set up a nasty, throwable combo. It just sets up easy damage, especially on problem enemies as they spawn in. And the circle in the middle is our adrenaline. Fill this up by landing attacks with both your katana and guns, and even parries add to it quite a bit. Pop it with L3 and R3, then you'll do this automatic attack to nearby enemies, setting up max stuns, which leads into those glory kills. And combine that with the game's built-in automatic chain glory kills thing, it makes it pretty damn strong. Can even pop adrenaline on hit, or if you get parried. So it's a solid reversal option too. One thing I really appreciated is the improved upgrade progression. Samurai Jack took 3 full playthroughs to get the entire skill tree completed for things to feel complete. It felt good when it did, but just took too long. And in Wanted Dead, it took less than 1. So in a small handful of hours, you'll max out the skill tree and you start to feel the improvements pretty quick too, because all these additions add something pretty useful. Like an extra hit to your combos, faster reloads, extra stim packs, glory kills on specific delimbed enemies, those parry and counter follow-ups, and higher defenses against attack types. Can even get teammates a little assist ability that they'll do on their own, letting them get on the action. This guy learning a thing or two from Hunk, it looks like. When it comes to the enemies we'll take on, we got far off enemies who will stay back firing away, just do the same. Sometimes they'll throw grenades, but you can sidearm counter it and make them go boom instead. These batons who will do a pretty noticeable windup, setting up easy parries. Sledgehammers who seem to always do this overhead unblockable attack that sets up sidearm counters. Shields who are kinda bullies and will fire at you non-stop once you're out of that range. You can do the classic strat of aiming for their exposed angles, can toss grenades behind them, or parry the bash, which knocks their shield away, leaving them wide open. And anyone with a shotgun or a grenade launcher, with every shot they do, it'll be this red attack, so it's unblockable. But use a pistol to do that counter. Huge guys with miniguns that will shred your health, so best to get in close to slash them up. And yeah, these are for sure damage sponges and don't really react to your attacks at all, for like even more of a punching bag. And these all-white blade masters are a real threat. These elites can parry you and do a lot of damage and just move crazy fast in general. You'll be doing parry rallies if you can react fast enough, and then you'll watch out for their parry stance when you're on the offensive. But once you learn them, it's pretty fun. There's a less crazier version of those guys with darker outfits. They put up a fight too, but it just takes one parry to take them out for the most part. The bosses are decent. Cool, we fight these kinda out there people to go toe to toe with, but you'll do the same strat of a 1-2 hit with your katana, dash cancel, rinse and repeat. Kinda stun locks them and works from beginning to end. And that's Wanted Dead. This is definitely one of their better games, and I feel like they're improving with each title. Samurai Jack is still my personal favorite they've done so far, but Wanted Dead is still pretty solid. It has some stuff I recognize from Ninja Gaiden, which is pretty cool, and it's a short and sweet compact experience, running about 5 to 6 hours, which lets itself get to the point with non-stop gameplay. It is a little janky overall, but it has character. You have these anime flashbacks, some of the back and forth with the crew is pretty enjoyable. There's even mini games like rhythm-based ramen eating competition, even some karaoke which gets the crew pretty hyped. Of course we gotta have our little training room challenge trials here. There's not much of them sadly, but it's still fun to do these little arena fights. Again, the game is short. About 5 stages that last an hour each, but that just sets itself to focus on the gameplay, letting the combat be the main focus, which is more than fine by me. You get to really learn enemy patterns, their spawns, and even think of routing too if you really want to. And yeah, Wanted Dead is a little budget action title, but the perfect kind. The kind we really miss.